right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Wardrobe adjustment from record warmth to a more typical January feel that'll have you reaching for your coat Wednesday morning.
And tonight, with recreational pot hitting store shelves next month, are workplaces seeking a workaround?
We still prohibit marijuana use in the workplace.
But first tonight, just hours ago, Missouri became the first state to execute a transgender person.
Amber was never sentenced to death by a jury. A judge did this.
Tonight, the inmates' last words. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred. Tonight, the death sentence for Amber McLaughlin was carried out for the 2003 rape and murder of her ex-girlfriend, Beverly Gunther. Earlier today, Governor Mike Parson denied her clemency. Our Laura Barczewski is at the state prison in Bonne Terre, where advocates for McLaughlin gathered in support until the very end.
There were dozens of people here in Bonne Terre supporting Amber McLaughlin at the hour of her death as she was executed by lethal injection. The Department of Corrections pronounced her dead just before 7 o'clock. Activists traveled all over the state protesting the scheduled execution of Amber McLaughlin from Jefferson City to St. Louis to their final stop in Bonne Terre at the prison.
Amber's humanity is the most important thing, and that's what we try to amplify. We try to center and focus on. Even today, people have asked me, well, why are you out here today? Because it's going to happen. Yes, it is going to happen. However, we are going to continue to stand in the gap and let our community know that these things are not okay, and we're going to follow it up with letting our legislators know that it's not okay.
Governor Parson said in a statement denying her clemency, Miss Beverly Gunther's family and loved ones deserve peace. The state of Missouri will carry out McLaughlin's sentence according to the court's order and deliver justice.
Our condolences definitely go out to her and her family, and it was a horrible thing that happened. We have never said that it's okay to kill anybody, including the victims in these cases. But in addition to that, we understand that when someone commits a heinous crime, should not be up to the state to visit that heinousness on them as well.
She is the first openly transgender inmate to be killed by the state. Her friend Michaela Joy Kramer says she had one last chance to visit her Monday night.
She had so much hope, you know. I think I had accepted that, you know, today would be the end and last day, and she kept bringing me hope, and it's like, well, it's not official yet, and we're still gonna see what happens, and you know, maybe the governor will release a decision. But she was strong until the end. Stronger than me, that's for sure.
The Department of Corrections shared her last statement. It reads, "I am sorry for what I did. I am a loving and caring person." Reporting in Bonne Terre, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
The next execution in Missouri is scheduled for February 7th. Advocates against the death penalty say they will keep fighting.
Tonight, the I-Team has learned charges have been dropped against the woman accused of carjacking St. Louis Alderman Brandon Bosley. The St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office dismissed 2 felony charges against this woman, Bianca Robinson. She spent a week in jail after Bosley posted a video online saying she tried to carjack him. No word on why the charges were dropped. The Circuit Attorney's Office says the entire case is still under investigation. Just a few hours ago, family and friends gathered to remember a Collinsville teenager shot and killed on New Year's Day.
As our Robert Townsend reports, new tonight, the vigil came an hour after prosecutors charged 2 suspects.
Miguel Villegas de Santiago spent New Year's Day enjoying the holiday with friends at his girlfriend's home on Princeton Avenue in Collinsville.
So he had already said bye to his people, and he was getting ready to come back home and eat with his family.
But shortly after 2 that afternoon, his friends and family couldn't believe what happened. Police say 26-year-old Mateus Herrera drove 18-year-old Albert Campos to the area, and Campos then fired multiple gunshots at Holmes. A bullet also hit De Santiago as he sat in his father's truck. De Santiago was shot and killed outside his girlfriend's house here on this street and just around the corner from his family's home.
It's really unbelievable.
Right now, police haven't said anything about a motive. They did say De Santiago and the suspects knew each other.
To most of us, he was really a great friend and was always there for you when you needed him.
Efren Lopez says after his buddy graduated high school, Miguel did landscaping and lawn mowing work around Collinsville.
He loved it. And with that passion, he had always commented to us how he wanted to start a business.
It was just life of the party, really. ball of energy.
Back at this candlelight vigil, the arrests in the De Santiago murder are giving his loved ones some comfort.
I just want my friend back, you know.
And hopefully, these people are brought to justice.
In Collinsville, Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
In a separate New Year's Day shooting, Collinsville police say 2 men were shot outside Sloan's Pub just minutes after midnight. 2 people were taken into custody, but no charges have been filed.
Tonight, police are searching for a group of thieves who broke into a Fenton gun store, getting away with 7 guns. It happened early this morning at Denny Dennis Sporting Goods. This is the 4th time this family-owned business has been hit since 2018.
It's just been a spike in the past couple of years that it's been insane. He works very hard for what he's got. He's very fair to everybody, and it's annoying.
The ATF is working with police in the investigation. Police say they're looking for a white sedan with a possible temp tag and a black SUV.
A live look at the U.S. Capitol tonight, where it was history and havoc today. Republicans took control of the House, but for the first time in 100 years, the lower chamber failed to elect a new Speaker of the House after 3 rounds of voting. With a small band of Republicans standing in his way, Congressman Kevin McCarthy of California fell short of the votes needed to secure the Speaker's gavel. The House cannot address any other business until a Speaker is elected.
Tonight, the Show Me State has a new senator in Washington. Eric Schmidt was sworn in today.
And that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office you are about to enter, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations, Senator.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
and to
Thank
the
you.
whole family.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
The former Missouri Attorney General was joined by his family as Vice President Kamala Harris administered the ceremonial oath. Earlier, during his official swearing in the Senate chamber, Schmidt was joined by the man he's replacing, Roy Blunt. Back here in Missouri, Andrew Bailey was sworn in as Missouri's new Attorney General. Governor Mike Parson appointed him to replace Schmidt. Bailey had served as the governor's general counsel since 2019.
With recreational marijuana now legal in Missouri, some companies are backtracking rules involving workers. Others are adding new layers to its policies. New tonight, Brent Solomon is just back from speaking with an employment attorney about all this. Brent?
That's right, Mike. With the passage of Amendment 3 comes some new do's and don'ts that has your boss taking notice. It could mean making changes or reinforcing protocols that may or may not side with those who use marijuana.
Lighting up in Missouri. It is now legal. But how does that affect you when you go to work?
I think the first and most frequent question I'm getting is, can we still prohibit marijuana use in the workplace?
Her immediate response?
It's a clear yes.
St. Louis employment attorney Sarah Mullen of Lewis Rice says your job has discretion on how it will react to Amendment 3, the amendment that legalized recreational marijuana in Missouri last month. In short, your job can still say no weed at work.
And here's a question. What if you're at work and your boss thinks you're high?
Much like alcohol, you can't come to work under the influence. You can't be smoking or ingesting marijuana on the job, much like you can't do that with alcohol. The employer can ask questions of the employee about why they're acting the way they're acting if they are under the influence at work.
Mullen says that even includes if you work remotely. On the other hand, there are some things companies may want to revisit since Amendment 3 expunges records for minor marijuana offenses. That might change a company's hiring practices.
And so to the extent marijuana-related offenses were disqualifying from employment, they need to take a careful look at that and a careful look at that practice.
And when it comes to workers who use marijuana for medical reasons,
now Missouri employers can't refuse to hire someone or terminate someone as a result of a positive drug test if they're a medical marijuana user.
Now, by the way, a company in a state where recreational marijuana is not legal or a federal employer may still require a negative drug test to work for them. Just because you have the green light to smoke in Missouri, it could hold a job seeker back if they're looking to work elsewhere.
Brent, thanks. Well, tonight, Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin remains in critical condition at a Cincinnati hospital 24 hours after he collapsed on the field. Today, fans gathered outside Highmark Stadium in Buffalo for a vigil. The 24-year-old suffered cardiac arrest just seconds after tackling a Bengals player. Last night's game was postponed, and the NFL says no decision has been made about resuming at a later date. Later in sports director Frank Cusimano talks with former Blues player Chris Pronger, who suffered a similar frightening injury on the ice 25 years ago.
The man who founded one of the top car dealerships in the area has died. Frank Bommarito died yesterday in Naples, Florida. He was 88 years old. Funeral plans are still being arranged. The St. Louis native opened his first Oldsmobile dealership in 1971 in Ellisville. The Bommarito Automotive Group now boasts 20 locations.
Caught on camera, a car thief thwarted by its owner.
Your adrenaline's going, but you have to think again. Most of these people are armed.
The message tonight from personal safety experts. A new year, a new healthy you. A viral claim saying St. Louisans can get fit with Taco Bell. Tonight, we verify.
Storm system today produced a few strong to severe thunderstorms in central Illinois, out of our area, down south too. As this system finally pushes away, we're starting to look at the rain chances for the upcoming weekend. Why it doesn't look like a washout.
Tonight, the man suspected in the brutal slayings of 4 University of Idaho students is headed back to the state. Brian Koberger waived extradition at a hearing in Pennsylvania today. The 28-year-old says he is not responsible for the murders in November. When you talk to some people about the St. Louis region, the city's crime often comes up.
And tonight, our I-team has learned that the way that data is collected nationwide may not mean an equal comparison. Our Christine Byers sat down with an expert who says police departments need to do a better job of reporting crime.
Another year has come to a close, and the city's homicide total stands at 198. It was 200 in 2021. Complete numbers won't be available for another few weeks on all crimes. And when they are, talk of how St. Louis measures up to other cities will inevitably begin. It's talk that experts like Richard Rosenfeld of the University of Missouri-St. Louis say is as flawed now as ever. He says the country shifted to a new crime data collection system in 2021, and only 52% of police departments across the country submitted crime data, including St. Louis City and County. But some of the largest cities in America, including New York, Los Angeles, Phoenix, San Francisco, didn't. Rosenfeld says gaps in crime data like that make comparisons impossible.
What that means is that the most basic question we can ask about any recent dissemination of crime data is this: did crime go up or down?
What does this lack of participation and all these discrepancies mean for St. Louis, the St. Louis region?
What we can't do without a reliable set of comparisons is figure out where we are in relation to other places.
It's also a political problem.
What we will not have are our nation's quote-unquote official crime statistics to be used in any kind of reliable way to evaluate the claims and positions of candidates.
Rosenfeld says submitting crime data is voluntary for police departments. He says Congress should require them to submit their data to the FBI so we have solid stats. So what can they do? You can find his perspective at ksdk.com. For the I-Team, Christine Byers. 5 on your side.
We have new video tonight of an attempted brazen car theft, but the camera also captured the owner stopping the criminals in their tracks. It happened in New Orleans on Christmas Day. The victim left his red SUV running to quickly drop off a present to his neighbors when he sees the thief trying to drive off. He jumped in front of the car. He then crawled on the hood and then grabbed the thief through the open sunroof. Security experts say this is exactly what you should not do.
Your adrenaline's going, but you have to think again. Most of these people are armed. It's dangerous for you and everyone else involved. In this situation, get as much information as you can, try and get a good description of the perpetrators, and let them go. Again, it's property. It can be replaced.
The would-be thief eventually got out and ran off. The victim was not hurt.
A picture posted online claiming to be taken in a St. Louis County park got more than 1,300 reactions. A viewer asked the Verify team if the image is real. Let's verify. It's that time of year when fitness is top of mind. But this picture of a Taco Bell fitness course is a combo that left minds wondering Is this real? The image posted online says it's part of the St. Louis County Park System, and it's commemorating the Great Flood of 1993. The Verify team showed the image to Ann Radford, spokesperson for the county park. She said there is a Taco Bell fitness course located on the south end of Jefferson Barracks Park. Radford said Taco Bell wanted to give back to the community after the Great Flood of 1993, so they provided the funds for the fitness course. It includes fitness stations like pull-up bars and wall climbs along the trail. We can verify this picture is legit. There is a Taco Bell fitness course located in St. Louis County. What can I verify for you? Send me an email, verify@kstk.com.
All right, lottery fever is spreading tonight with a Mega Millions jackpot worth $785 million.
Woohoo!
It's the fourth largest in the game's history. Here are the winning numbers. They were drawn just minutes ago. 25, 29, 33, 41, 44, and the Mega Ball is 18. Scott is still here, and I think that means he didn't win.
Yeah. We just see a blank screen.
Yeah, but you know, the weather was kind of winning today, right?
Oh, it was fabulous.
Look
I
at
mean,
this.
Good turn there, Scott.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. We won today weather-wise. Now, there are changes underway right now, so things are going to be a bit different tomorrow. But Brian, you know, you just talked about it with the Taco Bell Trail there. Fitness, it's a new year. Everybody wants to get out and do something. Well, today, Brian did just that. What a gorgeous day to hit the Lewis and Clark Trail there, looking down towards the Missouri River, and record temperatures in St. Louis. We jumped up 72 degrees this afternoon. That was our high temperature in St. Louis. That's a record for the day. Previous record high was 68, all the way back to 1880 and again in 1939. And went back in the record books looking at just at the month of January over the last 30 years, how many times we've been at 72 or higher. It's only 8 days during the month of January. So that's pretty substantial. All across the area, Alton 71, Pacific at 70 this afternoon, Shiloh, Illinois at 67, Waterloo was at 68, so was Oakville this afternoon, 67 out in Warrenton, 68 out in Union. Right now, our temperatures have cooled off a bit, still way above average for this time of year though. O'Fallon, Lake St. Louis down into the mid-40s, starting to see that cooler air work in, but still in the mid-50s as you go east of St. Louis. The much colder air is still back to the north and west. It is coming in and working in from the north and west behind this cold front. Ahead of that front earlier this evening and late this afternoon, we had some scattered thunderstorms in central portions of Illinois as they pushed through just to the north of our area. They did spin up a couple of small quick tornadoes. More severe weather is possible overnight down into portions of Mississippi and Alabama, while the winter weather continues up to our north. And look at this system out in the Pacific. Monster storm here is about ready to move on shore over the next 36 to 48 hours. This is going to be a huge problem for California. By the time it gets to us, it's just a little chunk of it that makes it into the bi-state region. How that impacts the weekend in just a second. First of all, that front scooting farther away overnight tonight. The colder air kind of filters in. Not brutally cold, but yes, cooler, and yes, we'll have a breeze tomorrow. Clouds will be a little bit thicker north of St. Louis as we head through tomorrow. Temperatures back into the lower 40s, so more of a reality check as we're closer to average. As we head towards the weekend, we don't see any really big storms heading our way. It's just a small chunk of that west coast system could give us a few scattered showers as we head towards Friday night. You see them on our Weather First Futurecast here, spreading into early Saturday morning. It should be fairly scattered across the bi-state area, not a lot of heavy rainfall. And temperatures, well, we don't have any Arctic air that we can find over the next 7 to 10 days for sure. Our best chance of rain coming during the next 7 to 10 days will happen late Friday night and into Saturday. And again, it's not a washout.
All right. Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
If you were not entertained by this hockey game tonight, you don't have a pulse. Highlights and also a visit with Chris Pronger. Stick around, please.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Chevy powerhouse.
So let me get this straight. Only one team in hockey had given up fewer goals than the Maple Leafs' 94 goals this season. The Blues went to Toronto without two players who have arguably the best career resumes on the team, Vladimir Tarasenko and Ryan O'Reilly. So what happens? They win the game 6-5. Go figure. An electrifying opening, Brandon Saad with a shorthanded goal, and it's 1-0 note. Blues on the power play, and it's pretty. Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, and Braden Shen gets his 8th goal of the season. Kyrou is from Toronto. You know he wants to score. He does that here, 3-1 Blues in the second. The Blues actually took a 5-3 lead in the second. Shen, gorgeous look to Saad, his 10th of the season. We went to a shootout, and that's where Jordan Binnington made his save of the night. Look at his right leg. He just kicked it away, and Shen, who has voice issues right now, let his play do the talking. The game winner in the shootout. Blues win a heart-stopper, 6-5. The family of Damar Hamlin thanked the public today for their prayers. Hamlin remains in critical condition after going into cardiac arrest last night on the field in Cincinnati. One side note, Americans have now contributed over $5 million to Hamlin's charitable foundation. You don't think this is a great country? Sometimes a horrible circumstance brings out the best in us. Now, if there's anybody who can relate to this story, it's the Hall of Famer Chris Pronger. 25 years ago in Detroit in the playoffs, Pronger was hit in the heart by a slap shot. He was out cold 20 to 30 seconds. Joe Louis Arena became quiet as Pronger suffered from cardiac arrest. The amazing thing, he spent the night in the hospital, tested the next day, and then played in the next game. But did he play a less intimidating style?
First off, you can't play that way. If I was going to play that way, then I shouldn't play. You can't play with a big toe in and a pinky toe out. You have to, you're all in or you're all out. And especially the way I play, you have to be all in. And no, once I decided to play, you need to play. Everybody else is going 100 miles an hour. It's a playoff game. You know, there's a lot that goes into it.
He is one of a kind. The SLU basketball margin of error is slimmer than a business card. They're going to have to be great in the conference from here on out. SLU is 9-5. They play at UMass tomorrow, who's 9-4. SLU kicked off their A-10 conference schedule with a win over St. Joseph's on New Year's Eve. But Coach Ford is still looking to see more effort from his team as a unit on the court.
We can't have three guys playing great athleticism, great quickness, and then two guys not doing it, or one guy not doing it. It just doesn't work that way if you want to have great success. So trying to build those habits of that some guys have gotten into of not playing hard consistently.
Two coaches who demand effort squared off tonight, Jay Blossom at Principia and Bob McCormick at Priory. The way to beat the press is to attack, and that's exactly what Miles Garcia does with the left hand right there. Prin, who is 9-0, has the little brother of Francis Okoro from SLU, and Steven gets the bucket and one right there. Priory too much tonight. Max Leip with the layup. They win at 59-49. It's Jordan Goodwin's alma mater versus Bradley Beal's alma mater. Althoff against Chaminade. Nice athletic drive and finish from Althoff's Earl Liverpool. Then it's the talented B.J. Ward for Chaminade with the three. Red Devils win it 72-41. Big-time rivalry, Belleville East visiting O'Fallon. Here comes Jordan Pickett, one of the best players in the Metro East, stepping into the three to keep the Lancers close. Later, it's Renee Harris for the Panthers with the slam on the other end. O'Fallon wins tonight 54-41. And that will do it in sports.
All right, Frank, thanks.
Relocation, relocation, the side of the Mississippi River where people are packing up and moving out.
Apple is charging you more to keep your device charged. Most iPhone replacement batteries will go up from $20 to $69. Batteries from MacBook Air will cost $130 more. There's also a $20 hike for iPad batteries.
People are fleeing the land of Lincoln. That's according to St. Louis-based United Van Line's annual National Mover Study. Illinois ranks second behind New Jersey when it comes to states where people moved out last year. Vermont and Oregon are the top inbound states. Missouri really didn't see a major shift.
Two kings of comedy are coming to St. Louis later this month. Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle have added St. Louis to their comedy tour. They'll perform at Enterprise Center on January 22nd Tickets will go on sale Friday morning through Ticketmaster.
I'm going to have all my screens open at 10 a.m. for tickets to that. Scott has a final check of the weather.
Well, tomorrow morning, you better grab that jacket heading out the door. A lot different across the area than what we saw this morning when we started out around 60 degrees. Tomorrow morning, we are in the 30s out the door, and there's a breeze. So it'll feel more like January. Look for the clouds to roll back in during the afternoon. Low 40s for highs, and we're pretty seasonable into Thursday. And pretty uneventful weather here heading into the weekend. Maybe we get a few showers along about Friday night into Saturday, but there is no brutal cold air in sight at this point. And that's good news.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Jimmy's guests tonight, Ana de Armas and Luke Grimes. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. and have a great tomorrow.